My name is Bonnie Cegielski. I work here at the Stanford Graduate School of Business, and I'm an admissions officer for the Stanford MSx Program. And I'm delighted to be right next to my colleague.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kathy Lilygren. I also work at the GSB Admissions, and yeah, we work together with the MSx program, and we are thrilled to be with you today. And we're really excited to introduce you to our colleague, Virginia Mack. Virginia is probably the MVP of the MSx program because she works with all of our students when it comes to the career management aspects of their time here on campus. So Virginia's been with the program for I'll let her tell you how many years. But one of the things that we know all of you are thinking about, if you're thinking about MSx, is how can this program help you with your career objectives and goals? And we understand that is one of the primary reasons people come to MSx. So we thought you'd like to hear directly from somebody who has the experience and can give you information about the curriculum that's offered for career management, but also just some stories about what makes somebody successful in a career search and what are some of the things you should be thinking about if you're planning on doing the MSx program. So with that, we're going to turn it over to Virginia, who is one of our favorite people to work with, and we're going to let her take it away. And just for everyone's benefit, this session is going to be recorded. And we will be potentially posting this on our YouTube channel at a future date. So if you missed something, don't worry. You can always go back and review the recording. All right. So Virginia, you can take it away.
Okay. Good day to everyone, wherever you are in the world, and welcome. Before we start, I just want to make sure that everyone can see the screen. Bonnie and Kathy, can you give me a yes?
Yeah, thumbs up, Virginia.
Awesome. Terrific.
Lots of thumbs ups, actually.
Terrific. Thank you so much. So thank you for making time to learn more about the Stanford MSx experience. I'm Virginia Mack, Associate Director of the Career Management Center, and I've worked with mid-career students in the MSx program since 2006. So it's about 18 years. And I've had many different roles in supporting the MSx students. I now manage MSx Career Services and coach mid-career students and alumni to become better versions of themselves. And it is a job that I absolutely love to the core of my being. Today, I'll share an overview of the MSx career experience as you consider the question, is MSx right for me? So here we are. Here are the faces that represent the unique mid-career transitions and mid-career journeys. For me and my teammates, I have a team of people that support you. We love working with our mid-career students because, one, they're experienced and accomplished leaders. Two, they represent all points in the globe, including places like Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, Colombia, Hong Kong, India, Israel, Japan, Kazakhstan, Mexico, Nigeria, South Africa, South Korea, Spain, Ukraine, UK, Vietnam, and the United States. So it is a virtual United Nations. Thirdly, they bring diverse perspectives through their human stories, unique talents, and of course, industry and functional expertise. So some of the people you see on this screen, they have been a rocket scientist, an engineer, product manager, winemaker, PE investor, serial entrepreneur, government official, economic policymaker, musician, venture capitalist, HR manager, journalist, brand marketer, dancer, strategic operator, banker, educator, restaurateur, physician, and it goes on and on. So as there are occupations in the world, we've had them come here in this program. But what do all these people have in common? They're at an inflection point in their life. They made a stop and think decision to leverage their experience for greater impact by becoming better versions of themselves. And they are all works in progress. So no two people here on this screen and in the universe of our MSx program, no two people are alike. There's no cookie cutter approach for their experience, and it is our privilege to work with you to amplify your experience, talents, motivations, strengths, so that you can have greater impact through greater self-awareness. So there are 4 key ways that the GSB helps you build your post-GSB career. So we're going to take the 10,000-foot view here. So there are 4 things. One is we help you strengthen your leadership skills. And how do we do it? We have world-renowned faculty that you've read about or perused on the website, fabulous courses. There are resources in leadership and executive communications. And there are many opportunities for you to take on leadership roles as students. So it's also a laboratory for you to lead. Low stakes, high reward, and it's fundamental to your career development. Next, we also offer the opportunity for you to broaden your network. This includes professors, classmates, alumni, members of our CMC, Career Management Center team, as well as student career clubs, networking events, and a myriad of other opportunities. GSB is really about people. And a lot of times people use the word network and it conjures up these kind of business transactions and kind of very tit for tat, but it's really about connecting to build good human relationships. And that's what the GSB is all about. The third thing is we help you deepen your functional knowledge and competence. You can do this through courses, experiential learning, independent research, which is very relevant for our mid-career students in particular. And you get a lot of practice to both learn and apply these learnings to real life. And fourth, we want to expose you to new perspectives. So while you have experience, we really are looking for people who have a beginner's mindset. And though you have great experience, you're really open to learning and curious. So with an incredibly diverse and talented community on campus and in Silicon Valley, there are so many opportunities for you to learn. You just need to have some filter of managing all the opportunities here. And in general, I would just say the MSx class, we start in the summer as opposed to everybody who starts in the fall. And then you will be joined by the MBAs for the rest of the year starting in autumn quarter. So from a 10,000-foot view, we're going to take a 1,000-foot view and look at Stanford MSx program and the Stanford MBA program. So here's a quick flyover. So I'm trying to see, is this blocking your view? Let me move this to the side. So for the Stanford MSx program, it's 1 year, the equivalent of 4 quarters. It's approximately 80 students who are in mid-career, either as managers or executives. The average level of work experience is about 13.5 years. The minimum is 8 years. And about 63%, I think this class, are international students. Compare this to the Stanford MBA program. It's 21 months long, 6 quarters or 2 years, approximately 400 students, 3 to 5 years average work experience, and about 44% are international students. Let me highlight a couple of things if we look at the left column, the red column. 1 year. 1 year is goes by fast. So in order to optimize the year, we look for people who are self-aware, know what you have to offer in terms of your skills and expertise, and know what you need to develop in order to have greater impact. Sometimes you may not be crystal clear, and that's where we help you along that process. But in general, you need a clarity of purpose. 80 students. So this is a much more intimate experience. You get to know all your classmates. Personally, I know all of you by name. And so it is a much more personal and individualized experience. 13 years of experience. You have a special mid-career inflection point that brings a wisdom that comes from a career and life experience that includes families. And so there's a lot of sharing and growth that comes from your peer group and the vast experience you bring. And then finally, 63% international students. As I said before, it's like a mini United Nations where you share cross-cultural experiences, perspectives that make our world smaller, more connected, and for much more deeper learning. So if you have questions on this, I would say, please check out the MSx program info sessions, and they will do a deeper dive on this. So we've just contrasted mid-career development versus early career development. So next is, we've gone from 1,000 feet view, and now I'm looking at you face to face. Our hope for you is that you gain clarity, confidence, and connections to have greater impact, to live up to our GSB motto of changing lives, changing organizations, and changing the world. And that change begins with you. So when we talk about clarity, we're talking about your values, skills, domain expertise, regional experience, untapped talents and interests, strategic long-term impact, and most importantly, your career and life priorities. Basically, we want you to get clarity on who am I now and who am I becoming? Which brings us to the next one, which is confidence. We want you to have confidence to name and claim and position who you are, what's your value and your impact, and to be comfortable in your own skin authentically, and to convey your point of view and your impact so that you can build connections. And connections for relationship building, whether you're networking socially or professionally, for referrals and opportunities, or for networking for the next job. So how we do this is a little model that I think many students find so helpful. Like, who am I and who am I when I think about my career? So on the left circle, what are you great at? Then moving up, what energizes you? What motivates you? Where does time seem to just whiz by? The next one is, what do you need? So what's essential? What are some priorities that are really important to you? And then finally, what the market supports or what the market will pay for. So when you can name and claim all those things, the intersection of those 4 circles is your sweet spot, the unique you, the authentic you. And that's our journey with you. So next, people always want to know, so how do you work with us? So CMC partners with MSx students to support your mid-career journey at the CMC. It's really important for you to understand that you own and drive a self-directed job search if you're looking for a job. And it is important to do that because you need to leverage and understand your own unique mid-career experience and what you want to carry forward to share and use in the marketplace, and what's the focus of your next step or next phase in your career development. We also help you to amplify your reputation. What is it now, and what could it be better? So we support you on this journey, but you're in the driver's seat. We don't tell you like, oh, you have to come in X number of times, or here's a checklist. We do give you some general guidance, but it's up to you to customize and personalize your strategy, your plan, your tactics, and we're walking with you every step of the way. Okay, now let's get some more nitty-gritty. So specifically for MSx students, this is the MSx career experience as we engage with you as the Career Management Center. So starting from the left, we have mid-career expertise. I am one of several mid-career coaches who are very knowledgeable about the mid-career transition and development process. And so it is unique, and it is a little different than what the MBAs experience because they're in the early phase of their career. And specifically, if you apply, if you're accepted, your one-on-one experience with us begins before the formal start of the MSx year. We want to help kind of get you clearer of what's important to you. Why are you at the GSB? What do you hope for in terms of your career development in the short term and the long term, so that you can optimize a very rich and fast-paced year? Moving to the next two areas are related to career education. So one is MSx specific curriculum. And so we've designed a curriculum that is really designed for mid-career professionals. So we take a general curriculum on career development that can be applied to everyone, but we really focus on what are the unique issues and considerations in mid-career development. We also have MSx only workshops. We have general career management center education workshops that are pretty much open for all, but the most relevant really speak to the MSx experience, the mid-career experience, and we do hold workshops that are exclusively for our mid-career students so that you can really address the issues and the challenges and the opportunities that you face. Moving over to the right side, you also have access to everything at the CMC, pretty much. You have access to the full range of resources, which include workshops, company info sessions, and our career advisors who serve all of our students. And the next thing, I think this is kind of, could be our little secret sauce here, is networking with MSx alumni. I have to say, having worked with the program for about 18 years, the alumni are a wonderful community, and you will be part of this community. They leave nobody behind. They understand the mid-career experience and what that means for both exploration as well as a targeted job search, and they are there and accessible to help you along the way. We organize both career talks, MSx career talks, where they talk about careers and industries and mid-career pathways, and it's very targeted to your experience. We also just finished, and Kathy was there the other day, we had an MSx Career Connections mixer. We had hors d'oeuvres and we brought in alumni who mixed with students very informally to begin to develop those warm connections that can last for years beyond. Next, we have the Canvas course. So we actually take all of our MSx curriculum and anything else that is very relevant to MSx students, and we put it all on one platform so it's easy to find. You may discover that the GSB is an embarrassment of riches. We have too much info about too many things, and sometimes it's hard to sift through everything. And so Canvas makes it easy to have a one-stop shop to find, oh, what was that slide deck? Oh, what were those handouts? It's all in one spot. And then finally, in the middle bottom, we have a lifetime of career support. So once you're in the program, we're committed to your lifetime career development and your lifetime career resilience. And so you get 4 complimentary appointments for every 12 months for each year for the rest of your life. Let me continue. So let's kind of step back and put this all into perspective. It's important to take the long view. The MSx program is a 1-year experience, and we offer tools to build a personalized career strategy to help you with your short-term job search and your long-term career aspirations. So it's really important not just to think, oh, what am I going to do right after graduation, which is, of course, very important, but it's also important to take the long view. So the mid-career job search in general takes about 6 to 12 months, and it depends on what you want. Are you pivoting? Are you accelerating? So there are a lot of factors that go into it. So it does take a little bit of time, and it depends on also your job search skills. If you're an international student and you've never looked for a job in the United States, there are, cultural norms that you need to get acquainted with. And there's a whole different cross-cultural style of communications that we will help you in being competitive on the job search. In terms of your mid-career job search too, it's your choice on how you want to structure your time, where you're going to focus your energy based on your personal circumstances, your risk tolerance. For example, some people have a long financial runway before they land the next job, so they can be extremely picky. For other people, they really need to land something fairly soon after graduation. And so it's all very personalized. That goes into the factor of, does it take 6 months, 12 months? And finally, we'll partner with you on the approach that best suits you. So for job seekers, you may want to decide to wait until graduation or close to graduation so you can focus your energies on your experience here. So in general, I would say Stanford GSB opens doors for you, but it's up to you to walk through those doors and to take it to the next level and get that job. So it's important to talk about MSx as looking in the longer view of strategic career change, which is generally about 3 to 5 years. So you land your first job post GSB, and then over the course of 3 to 5 years, you'll see some of your longer term career goals kind of begin to settle in and map itself out, or create more opportunities for you to have greater impact in the longer term. So for entrepreneurs, some of you are serial entrepreneurs, others of you are exploring. So some people may decide not to pursue a startup after graduation, and they'll wait 3 to 5 years and they still become entrepreneurs. It's a matter of timing and opportunity. If you're sponsored, you're looking to position yourself to accelerate your career. And so we can help you determine what strengths you want to broaden, deepen, and develop to have impact when you return to your employer right after graduation, as well as position yourself 3 to 5 to 10 years out where you want to be and where you want to make a difference. So in general, your post-GSB job is the first step, and we provide you the frameworks and the opportunity to apply them to build resilience for a lifetime. So, and it's very exciting to see. Over 18 years, I've seen where people go really in the long view. So I want to take a moment. There's some frequently asked questions, and so I want to flag that here. Well, maybe I'll wait. No, I'll do this here. So what's trending in the job market right now? And so in general, no surprise, AI and sustainability, climate change is really hot. And people say, well, what about tech? And what's the economy like? And so while it is important to understand the external marketplace, you don't have that much control over that. What you do have control over is knowing your value, what problems you solve, what gets you excited when you're trying to, make a difference, what people seek you out for, what reputation you have. So I would say, when you're looking at the job market, focus on what you have to offer. So know yourself, know what you can control, build your networks, because the job search, especially in mid-career, they're not always posted. Some are more network based. There is no on-campus recruiting for mid-career. There is no placement service because, as you saw from all the faces in the second slide, everybody is so unique. It's very hard to kind of do this aggregate big sort of placement approach. It's very unique and individualized. And as coaches, we work with you. And really hone in on why you're here at the GSB. And it's important. I find the people who are most transformed, most confident, most impactful are people who are driven by personal discovery and growth and impact, rather than moving up and having that job level and salary number be the driving force and motivator. And usually when you do what you love and you do what you're good at, people recognize you and they pay you for it. So back here are little faces. I want to give some concrete examples of our MSx career journeys. So as I mentioned before, we support your career journey, and they're very unique to each individual. We help you acknowledge your past, envision the future, and to become the best version of you today. And you work it one day at a time while you're here. And so people, when they come to the program, are either career accelerators, career entrepreneurs, or career pivoters. And of course, with a curious mind, there are people who are career explorers, but eventually they do land in one of these three areas. So let me kind of highlight and give you some examples for each set of career journeys. So for the career accelerators, I've got 3 examples, and these are people who want to deepen their industry and functional knowledge and their leadership competence to have a greater impact. You may be sponsored by your company, or you may independently pursue, to accelerate your career. So an example, we have a sponsored accelerator, Stephen. He was sponsored by an international bank. He was a VP of transformation in East Africa. And during the program, he knew that, I want to be a better banker and move up at the company. And then he discovered all this other ways of thinking, approaching problems, design thinking, entrepreneurship. And he goes, wow, I am learning things that I never even imagined I could learn. And he's very loyal to his employer, and his employer loves him. He went back. He wanted to stay in the United States. He was given a role as Director of North America in San Francisco, fulfilled his 2-year commitment to return back to the company. And he decided, he had this itch to start a company, and he worked with some of his classmates to do that. It failed. It took him about 1 year, and it failed. And then through the network, people he had a reputation, and so he was recruited and joined a Series E startup in the United States. And I recently spoke to him. He got promoted. He's got global responsibilities, and he's going to set up shop to build out Southeast Asia. So that is Stephen. Another accelerator is Lamia. Lamia has a PhD in computer science. She was a principal manager in tech AI, and she really just wanted to get deeper and deeper and broader and have bigger impact in that AI space. And this was a while ago. And post GSB, she became director of research at a top tech firm. And subsequently, she went to more top tech firms to kind of shape their strategy around AI. And now, probably 7 years later, she has a portfolio career as an advisor, an investor, thought leader. She is sought after to speak at conferences. A third example of an accelerator is Geraldine. She was in the HR function in one of the small business of a big tech company. And she left independently, but she had the option to return. And she explored many opportunities. She wanted to move up into HR and wanted to have more impact around culture and talent development. And it turned out the best opportunity for the best fit and best stretch for her was back at her original firm. And she then covered 3 regions globally for the HR transformation. So those are 3 accelerators. And then I'm going to move to entrepreneurs. So for those of you who already are entrepreneurs, I'm going to give you an example of a serial entrepreneur, Alan. He was an international student who had 3 he had founded 3 companies before coming to the GSB, and he was preparing to start the next company. And he networked and met a lot of people at the GSB and became immersed in the Silicon Valley ecosystem. And as you know, life happens, and the idea that he had just sort of fizzled. It wasn't going to be viable. And so he's going, oh no, what am I going to do? He took so many courses, he developed great relationships, and it turned out a faculty member thought he would be a great VC. So this was totally unintended by him. And he wound up becoming a VC for 7 years and did very well. And but he decided he still was an entrepreneur at heart, and he wanted to build a company. And so he's back, and he's built another company that is doing pretty well. Another example is a first-time entrepreneur, which also could be like a pivot. We have Omar, who was a product manager, had been a product manager at several of the big tech companies in the Valley. And I think he assumed he was going to go back and just move up at a big tech company in product management. Lo and behold, he checked out some courses, he had some ideas, and go figure, his ideas found an audience, it had traction, people were excited about it. So he founded a company, an AI company, and it was actually just a year ago, and he is doing extremely well, working very hard and very tired, but he's doing really well. He is shocked at, you know, what opportunities came out of the MSx program. And then I'll do one final one is another first-time entrepreneur is Madhu, who is a physician. She's an oncologist, and she really cares for her patients, and they suffered so much with skin irritation due to radiation. And she wound up networking, and she has some science background, and she developed a skin cream to soothe the painful skin conditions due to radiation. She has done really well. It was a lot of hard work, but I think 3 years out, she's speaking at conferences and really raising her profile and the impact that she has on cancer patients. So finally, I will move to pivoters. Let me see, how are we doing on time? Okay. So pivoters, there's so many, and everyone is so unique, as you heard me mention at the start. So I will kind of quickly go through some of them to give you a flavor, and perhaps you can find yourself in one of these examples. So there's the pivoter Ed, who wanted to move sector and industry. He was in a local chamber of commerce in Texas, and he was the transportation chair. And he really wanted to move to the Valley to be in big tech in mobility and e-vehicles. He networked, he took courses across the street in engineering. And long story short, he was able to land initially as a senior consultant for mobility at one of the major Silicon Valley tech firms. His love has always been transportation, which is now in mobility and e-vehicles. Another example is a pivot from investor to operator. Mike comes from Canada. He is in private equity investing for probably 7 or 8 years. And he was looking at, okay, let me do private equity in the US. Well, even with his 8 years of experience in private equity, 7 or 8 years experience in private equity, he had challenges. Because if any of you are interested and are newcomers to private equity and you want to go into private equity, it is really tough. They tend to have a very clear formula of the type of profile that they're looking for. It tends to be, they call it 2 by 2. 2 years of investment banking, 2 years of consulting, and then you move into private equity. You're young, they mold you, and it's very limited in the number of people that they take. So even Mike, with years of experience in it, he discovered that it was hard to pivot in the US in private equity, but he looked at other things. And unbeknownst to him, a new opportunity came up, and he looked at private equity as an operator. So the portfolio companies that PE firms hold, they have positions open for talent, operator talent, to help them grow and have better returns, better impact. He joined there. He's doing phenomenally well. We also have a pivot from operator to investor. So Margaret, she had a long history of e-commerce in retail, and eventually founded and sold an e-commerce company herself before coming to MSx. And she really was interested. She had the money, and she was really interested to figure out, gee, how do I bring more women into business ownership? And so she created a venture capital fund, and she's doing quite well right now. I'll give you 2 more examples. We have Tom, who was in the military, had a great, a very illustrious military service, and he wanted to reinvent himself in the corporate world. And what he discovered is he was great at operations, which is typical when you come from the military. And he also had a love for data science. He really was a data geek. I mean, he really loved data. And so he really leaned into it, fully immersed himself in it, and proved to be really good at this data stuff, and wound up getting some short consulting opportunities at the major big tech firms, working on with data, particularly around AI. And then he wound up getting a position with a prominent company working in the AI space. And he is now VP of one of the units at that firm right now. So his pivot proved to be very fruitful. The final one, no, I'm going to do 2 more, is a pivot in geography and function. So this is Ruvi, who came from South Africa in life insurance management. She was a manager, and she really wanted to move into general management. And she wanted to explore what it was like to work outside of the African continent. She was hoping to work in the US, but she realized over time that the US wasn't so important. And she began to look at other geographies, and she wound up landing as the head of strategic finance in Australia. She picked Australia because she had family members there, and she was wanting to be closer to her family. And she was recently promoted to CFO. So that's Ruvi. And then finally, my last one will be a pivot from consultant, if there are any consultants out there, to operator. Anu was the principal of the health practice at a major consulting firm, and she really wanted to get out of, watching strategies implemented by other people. And so she steeped herself in really connecting with practitioners, with venture capitalists to just understand the whole ecosystem even more deeply than she already knew. She wound up getting several offers to be partner at consulting firms. She turned them down because she really wanted to step into an operator's role. She joined a founding executive team with a person who was founding a company that she had met through networking, and stayed there for quite a few years, developing partnerships and seeing on the ground how things, how to develop and build an operation. And finally, she has started her own maternal health care startup that is doing very well, and she speaks at conferences all over. So with that, I'm going to give a little bit of a pause, and I'm going to raise a couple of frequently asked questions that I'll address here. One is, for entrepreneurs, what resources are there for entrepreneurs? So for, in terms of the Career Management Center, we can help you look at the overall arc of your life and career and how you might navigate and be more resilient through the ups and downs, because there are ups and downs. It's a risky place. But we also have two places that are really golden resources for students. One is the Center for Entrepreneurial Studies, which hosts the famous Startup Garage. There's so many entrepreneurs and VC people that kind of move in that space. And we also have the Center for Social Innovation, if your inclination is more around emphasizing social good as well as, social impact. They have programs that help you if you're interested in ecopreneurship and edupreneurship. So that's also another great resource. The other frequently asked question is, what's the return on investment for the MSx program? And what is the employment data for MSx? So that's a great question. And it's a challenging one for us to generalize and publish numbers on ROI, or average salary or median salary. And here's why. One is our sample size is small. We're an intimate group and it's small, very small. Also, the class is very diverse. And we also want to honor students' requests to keep their salary information anonymous and confidential. So it's hard to generalize. So for example, we've had a graduate who reported total comp of $8 million, and we had someone who reported $0. So is the average salary $4 million? What's the mean? What if you knocked out the outliers? How do you take into account someone who's driven to start a company? You can't put a price on that. Or someone who wants to redirect their corporate marketing skills towards social impact in developing countries. So ROI is not just the pure measure of financial success at graduation, but by personal growth and impact over time. It's more of an intrinsic measure, and it's highly individualized. So let's see what else I can share with you. With that, I think let me have the students or our graduates share their thoughts on the impact of the program and what it meant to them. So here we go. The program changes your life. It changes the way you think, the way you approach opportunity, the way you relate to people. My professional objectives are now closer thanks to the GSB. Now I'm more ambitious and I'm willing to take more risks. This has been the best year of my life. I love the alumni. They're like, oh, cool. Let me brainstorm your career search with you. and that led to a much deeper relationship. As an international student, exploring career paths post-GSB can be challenging and uncertain. Your team's dedication and offering guidance and coaching made all the difference. The sessions with alumni, whether conducted in person or online, proved to be exceptionally fruitful. The connections I built with them provided a genuine sense of support. The CMC slogan, "Leave no MSx behind," lived up to the expectations. And then finally, the GSB offers opportunity for transformation. My MSx year was transformational. And with that, thank you for joining us. I will hand this over to Kathy and Bonnie now. Thank you for staying up, getting up early, or being with us this morning. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you so much to our collaboration and our esteemed partner, Virginia Mock. Hopefully you guys all got a lot of value from this incredible webinar today. And fortunately, we're able to address so many of the questions that have been coming in either in advance or during the session. So we really, truly hope that this has been illuminating in such a positive way. We also know that there have been some admissions style questions coming in, and we encourage all of you to still follow up with us and email us at any time. Our email address, we've been putting it into the chat, and it's right here on this slide, but admissions-msx@stanford.edu. And we definitely check this email, so we will get back to you. And as noted, we have been recording this session, so it'll take us a little bit to get the recording posted, but we'll be sure to reach out and let you know where that will be on our YouTube channel. Without further ado, we want to say thank you again for coming today. Enjoy the rest of your day, evening, wherever you are. And again, thank you so much to Virginia. We really appreciate it. Bye, everyone.
Good luck, everyone.